If I had a crystal ball and I could look into this crystal ball and tell you guys exactly where your business opportunities lie looking forward, what is working in the future, what is not working in the future, things that we should totally eliminate, things that we should totally start doing in order to see your business grow and flourish. Imagine how amazing that would be. Guys, I don't have a crystal ball, but I do have the next best thing. We've recently just launched our opportunity analysis, and the entire premise of this exercise is to help you guys understand where the holes in your bucket currently lie. Why is that important? Because we don't want to start filling a bucket that's leaking. Guys, for a limited time only, I'm going to be offering this as a free giveaway. It's $350, but for you site shedders, you're going to get it for free. You need to head across to tradie.wiki/grow and enter the code SiteShed to get it for nothing. Off the back of it, book a time to have a chat and we'll see where it takes us. We're looking forward to helping you and seeing where your opportunities lie. Today's podcast has been proudly brought to you by Tradie Web Guys. Tradie Web Guys work with tradespeople only on their websites and marketing solutions to help them stand out from their competition. Everything from web design through to SEO, search engine marketing, content creation, you name it, guys. It is a customized solution for trade-based organizations and it's fantastic. Head across to tradiewebguys.com.au/apply, fill in the form and let's have a conversation.
Giving tradies and contractors around the globe the tools to run a modern business. You're listening to Toolbox Talks from the Site Shed. Now here's your host, Matt Jones.
Barry, welcome back to the Site Shed podcast.
Matt, stoked to be here.
All the way from Bali.
Yeah.
Doing it tough. So, mate, you were recently on the show, or back in episode 304, I think it was. And today we've got you back for a bit of a mini-series, for the first episode of a mini-series anyway, because after we did that podcast, I thought it'd be great to do a bit of a deep dive into some of the awesome things that you guys teach within your program and things that have, came out of your book, which for you listeners out there that haven't read that, go and check it out. It's an awesome read. It actually is the best place to get The Path of Freedom. Is that through Amazon?
Yeah, there's two ways. We'll give you a link through the show today where you can actually get a PDF copy for free. Otherwise, just get it directly from Amazon. It's The Path of Freedom.
I'll put some links to the Amazon in the show notes for you guys out there that want to go grab that. But definitely check it out. It's an awesome curation of some amazingly essential business things. So you did a really good job with that book, Barry. Cracker. Anyway, today we had a bit of a brainstorm and we thought we'd come back and we'd do a bit of a more of a deep dive into some areas of business, which to be honest, I've touched on a lot, but I've never really specifically targeted a series towards it. So I'm super keen to do this. This is something that's been really relevant to me lately. We put a lot of effort. I've just reread Traction by Gino Wickman, and he puts a whole lot of emphasis into vision, mission, company values, and that kind of thing. And as a result, we've rolled out this amazing platform to our organization, which puts all of that front and center for them. And it's just been so powerful. So for me, this has been an ongoing work in progress. And I imagine for yourself too. I don't know if this is as much of a destination as it is a journey, but it's certainly powerful when you get everyone on board, dialing into the right vision, the right mission, and understand what the values are.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is but one part of your book, I must say. So again, listeners out there, this is if you like what you're hearing in this little series, and you're up for a surprise with the book because it's full of golden nuggets like this. Barry, you've got a coaching business called pathtofreedom.com, and you have a podcast, right, called Tradies Business School. Oh, sorry. Why don't you tell me what the businesses are, because I get confused. There's so many of them.
Yeah, I've got a few businesses. The core one I guess we speak about today is the Game Changers, or the Tradie Business School. So we've been running coaching programs to business owners and entrepreneurs for the past 10 years now. The last few years, we created like a more niche and subset business around Tradie Business School, coaching specifically trades, businesses and general contractors, helping them implement everything they need to create a business that can grow without them. We have a podcast that supports that called the Tradie Business School Podcast. You can find it on all the major platforms. But yeah, a couple of years ago, I published my first book called The Path of Freedom. I got to a position in my life where I had a company that could run and grow and make money without me being involved, it wasn't always a dream. It was a dream after my first trades business consumed me, consumed my life, consumed my ability to be a father and be there for my kids, consume you financially, physically, emotionally, all the rest of it. And I remember coming through that terribly, at the time, painful and emotional experience and thinking, shit, like, if I ever find a way through this, I'm going to make sure that any future businesses, I can grow them in such a way that I have the ability to travel when I want, make money where I want, and not have to be chained to the desk, quoting jobs or drawing plans. And I didn't at the time think that was going to be a coaching business, but that's where things kind of ended up. And I'm fortunate enough now to have 7 different companies that are all running multiple millions of dollars, and I work less than a day a week. And this is not to brag, but this is just where you can get to if you choose to. And to be honest, Matt, I never chose to be here. I just wanted to get out of my first business. And what opened up after that was a greater vision for me to be able to help a lot more people, both my employees, but also the clients that we serve through their businesses. And especially too, during COVID, it's allowed me the space and time to really support a lot of people that are doing it tough. You know, my employees, their families, our clients, you know, we are experiencing tough times. However, you know, when you're consumed in your business, it's very hard to see the forest from the trees, so to speak. And this is why I honestly believe every business owner, every entrepreneur, their very first goal should be to get the business to a position where it can work without you. Because until you get there, you have a job. Now, it's not saying you don't love being on the tours. It's not saying you don't love quoting and doing all those sorts of things. That's fine. However, get to a position where the business can run without you, so you can actually choose to do what you want to do in the business, but the business is no longer consuming you.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, to be fair, we're kind of preaching to the choir here. I think a lot of people out there that listen and watch this podcast, and well, podcasts in general, I think they're sort of out there looking for better ways to improve business. And I think the natural progression within business is probably the one that you went down, where you're so caught up running it and you just want to find ways to replace yourself. And eventually the penny drops and you realize there are steps that you can do to certainly facilitate that, which is a testament, I suppose, to you sitting in Bali right now while the businesses operate around the world.
Yeah. That was the interesting thing for me writing this book. As much as it was to, you know, help our clients and everyone else, it was around me really distilling our methodology and what got me to that point. But the interesting thing is that at that point that I published the book, I had one business. In the last 18 months, it's gone from 1 to 7.
Wow.
And the really interesting thing is that 1 from 7 to progression hasn't cost me any more than a day a week of my time. So that in itself is a testament to having the steps to follow, and following those steps can actually, really replicate what you're currently doing in a huge way. And I think that a lot of people teach that you have to spend more time to make more money. But the reality is, if you are scaling a business effectively, the more money you're making, the more time you should have, because you have more money to invest in resource, in technology, in staff, and so forth. Yet I see so many people, as their business starts to grow, it consumes them because they haven't got some of the fundamentals in place. And I guess what I want to share with you and with your listeners over the next 3 episodes is some of those fundamentals.
Yep.
But they're things that I didn't get in the beginning. Like, I was chasing the dollar. Right? I was chasing more leads, more sales, which is typical of a lot of entrepreneurs, because there's almost like an immediate gratification to getting more money in the bank, right? And we kind of chase this vapor that always seems to disappear, which is cash. Yet what I didn't realize for so long is that in order to create a sustainable business, in order to create something that could grow sustainably and consistently, I really needed to have 3 things in place, which is the next 3 episodes. And that's a solid vision, a clear mission, and some defined values. And what stops a lot of people doing this is they can't see an immediate ROI of having these things in place, or they're so consumed. It's like, I just want to make money. I just want to get some time back. And I get all of that. But I've met people 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the track that are still saying the same shit.
Yeah.
Because they're still doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And this is the power of, like, and believe me or not, but if you spend the time to sit down and create your vision, mission, and values, and it's not something you do once, like you're constantly working on it and refining it, it will be the emotion, the energy, the inspiration, and the framework that will see your business and your life transform forever, right? Far more than getting a marketing piece of copy right, or nailing down a sales process.
It's also, I found a really good, which was kind of a serendipity, I should add, of having this stuff in place. It's been a really good way to qualify and disqualify people that want to be part of that journey. And so that could be everything from team members right through to clients and customers, you know. So like being transparent about those things, it really made really made a high level difference to, the type of conversations and the ecosystem that lives within the business, and just, the way that our culture, exists and that kind of thing. Like people are there because they know what we're trying to do and they're all on the same page. And I think that's really, really powerful. And I know totally what you mean. Like in the early stages, people are just you're so caught up with chasing the dollar that you neglect these things. And it seems like rainbows and unicorns, but the reality is it's a driving factor.
Yeah. I've had a number of people that have reached out and been like, oh, hey, I read chapter 8. I picked up your book. I read chapter 8 around people or hiring or whatever and implemented. It didn't work. And I was like, the reason it didn't work is because you didn't start chapter 1. Like there is some books that you can pick up and you can flick through and go to where you want.
Yeah.
But I share in the very, very first chapter that this has been written specifically and is a methodology that must be followed from step 1 all the way through to the end.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get these fundamentals in place, these are the foundations that build on the decisions when it comes to hiring, that build on the decisions when it comes to systemization. Like if these things aren't in place, the rest don't work. It's like dominoes. You have to knock over the first domino first.
Sure. It's funny. The last couple of months I've been really busy with this foundational stuff because I'm trying to remove myself from the bigger part of the business come November when we have another baby on the way and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so my coach calls it navel gazing. Like you're really working on the inside and you're sort of, developing all these foundational things so that you can facilitate, like you say. I mean, the money becomes far more important and far more part of the process when it comes in at the right stage. Like if you're chasing the dollar from the beginning without having this stuff in place, I can't bring people into the organization without having these things in place and it'd be scalable. It's still going to be a manual one-on-one, me teaching them everything. So having all these kind of things in place, it's like you say, it really does follow some important stepping stones. So anyway, today we're talking, the first episode here, we're going to be talking about creating the vision statement. And again, for you guys out there that are watching this or listening to this, do take note because like Barry just alluded to, you can your options are you can either do this in the right order, which is get this stuff out of the way first and then progress, or you can do it in the wrong order, which is likely what you're already doing. And then you'll end up coming back to this anyway. We'll have to start again. So I would just say, just tune in, take some notes, go and get hold of the book for sure, because a lot of these frameworks that Barry is going to be talking about are from within the book.
Yeah. I guess something to start them off with, Matt, is they're tradies, right? Think about building a house from scratch, right? The part that takes the longest is actually the foundation, right? Sourcing the land, getting the planning permits, drawing the plans, getting the structure in place. The moment that slab goes down, the house goes up relatively quickly, right?
Yeah.
But it's months before that slab goes down of preparation. Your business is no different. Yet I see a lot of business owners, they want to start with laying the walls on a dirt floor, right? They want to do the stuff that they can see where there seems to be making progress without actually doing the things right in the first place, which is why they later get stuck with a hamster wheel. They get to a point where they hit the glass ceiling and don't know how to get through it. They get to a point where the business becomes overwhelming, or they have, staff that don't follow their lead. They can't step out. They're spending a lot of time, having a lot of money coming through. And this is, I guess, why I really want, the guys and girls listening to this to understand the importance of this is where the vision comes in. It's the fundamental of everything. I write in my book that the vision is almost like a sunset. You can never catch it, but it's beautiful enough for you to keep striving for it, right? So I want to kind of paint a picture. Like if you see right now, you've got a mountain. And over the back of the mountain, you've got a sunrise or a sunset. That's your vision, right? You can never quite catch it, but it's beautiful and you strive for it. The mountain and the path up the mountain is your mission, right? The mission takes you closer to seeing that sunset, right? Or it can take you further away if you go in the wrong direction. But the mission is a lot more tangible, and you could potentially have multiple missions. But the missions are almost like a 10-year goal. And yet the values are a compass. The values let you know whether or not you're on course or off course to achieve that mission up the mountain, right? Which gets you close to the vision. So this is how those three parts kind of fit in. Like I remember when I first started hearing this stuff, like there was all this confusion around what a vision and mission value statement was. And that's the easiest way I can articulate it.
Sure.
And I guess the three reasons that we want to have a vision in place is the first one is it fuels a positive emotional state, right? Anything that we want in life, do you realize what we want is not the thing? We want the feeling of what the thing gives us, right? We don't want that materialistic thing. We don't want the money. We want the feeling of what money gives us. right? What it allows us to do. It's not the money itself, it's the emotional response behind it. And that's why painting a vision is so important, because a vision is not a thing that you can grab, but it's an emotional experience that inspires you, that even when things get tough in your business, it's that North Star. It's that thing you can still see. It's that thing you can still step towards, even though there might be a lot of fog and haze in front. The vision also attracts A players. You alluded to this before, Matt. You know, a lot of people wonder why staff leave for more money or why they can't attract good staff, especially in trades business. I see this more than other businesses. And it's because a lot of trades businesses work on hiring people for money, but not painting the picture of what their business stands for, of what they're trying to create in the marketplace. Now, I've seen a number of our clients that have had this belief that they can't attract good clients, good staff. Yet the moment they start to create their vision, mission, and values and advertise that as they would to advertise for a prospect, all of a sudden they start attracting the best talent. And not only that, when people try to poach the talent for more money, they won't leave, because what they have is they have a sense of belonging. They have a sense of contribution to an inspiration, to an idea, to something far greater than money itself.
Sure.
And I guess the last part of this is it also helps us to promote effective decision-making. Like right now, think about how you're making decisions in business. A lot of the time you're making decisions based on reaction, right? Putting out fires. Yet when we have a vision and mission and values, it helps us, and vision in particular, helps us to start to understand, okay, is making this decision right now moving me close to that sunrise or further away? Is this moving me further up the mountain or further away from the mountain, right? And when we can start to think of that, it allows us to progress far faster and to succeed a lot quicker while staying aligned with what's in our heart. Yet so often we make decisions based on money or short-term gains that keep us on the hamster wheel.
So why don't we segue a little bit into like the process of creating that mission? Because I think in my experience anyway, vision, because I think in my experience, a lot of people kind of get caught up in like too much in like the money side of things. Like it's more, and I feel like this is something as well that you see less and less with businesses that have been around for a while, and owners of businesses that have got a bit of experience and a bit of wisdom. Where we talk with our coaching, with my coach, and in like a very high level coaching group, like very rarely or any like when the conversation comes up around what are you grateful for, there is pretty much never ever the conversation around money. It's always around health, happiness, healthy family, all this kind of stuff. And I think that's something that comes with wisdom. But I feel that also, when there's people starting out in businesses, they do sometimes confuse, their vision, their mission, and their values too much to talk about, well, we just want to make shitloads of money. I want to buy a jet ski, like just silly materialistic things,
And that actually might work in the beginning. Like it might create some form of momentum, especially if people have lived or have grown up in a state of scarcity. But I can tell you from my own personal experience, you reach a point where all of a sudden you have money and you feel so fucking lost. Right? Because all of a sudden you have this money and it's like you no longer have that desire to move towards anything because you become safe. And I hit that. Like I got to a place where I had money and man, I was lost for so long, because there was nothing then driving the success. And so I then sabotaged in so many ways to motivate me again to earn more money, spent it on stupid stuff, made stupid decisions in business to where I started losing money again. But I guess I want to share, like you mentioned, Matt, like how do we go about creating the vision? Before I do, I want to talk about like the 3 things to avoid when creating a vision. And the first one we spoke about is the money, right, which you just mentioned. It's called the money trap. I alluded before as what we want is a feeling. We want the feeling of being able to pay for dinner with friends without checking our bank account before the bill comes around. We want the feeling of being able to provide for our family and to take them on nice holidays. The feeling of maybe contributing to our community. Money is a vehicle to get us to a desired state. And if we focus our vision solely on money or around money, we'll never reach that goal. Or as I mentioned before, we hit a trap. The second thing I see a lot that keeps people stuck is this thing we call the perfectionism trap. Some business owners spend months and months and months agonizing over nailing their perfect vision, right? They think it should be some grandiose thing where they feed 1 million kids around the world, right? It doesn't have to be that. It can grow into that, which is why your vision statement and your mission statement, not your values, your vision mission are evergreen. They're growing and they keep getting refined. right? And refined. But the most important thing I share with all of our clients all the time is to focus more on progress than perfection, right? Focus on taking a step forward today rather than getting the thing perfect before you take a step forward, because that kills more businesses than not getting something right. I mean, at least if you're making a decision, at least if you're making progress, you can then analyze whether that progress is moving you up the mountain or down the mountain.
I think that's a good life lesson in general. Ready, fire, aim.
Yeah.
Too many people sort of, I think, don't take action because they're waiting. I mean, I get it all the time in the digital agencies. People are like, no, we want this to be perfect before we launch. And I'm like, no, you launch it and that will dictate what perfect is. We don't know until it's live. You can't steer a parked car.
Yeah. It was like, I think it was the owner of LinkedIn or something said that if you wait to launch your product until it's perfect, you've launched too late, right? You've missed the mark. Because perfection in your mind is very different perfection than your client's mind. And to be completely honest, I don't believe perfection exists outside of it.
I 100% agree with you. There is always a way to do something better.
Yeah. And your vision, like your business, like look at your business right now. I guarantee it looks very different to when you started.
Thank God.
I know mine. Yeah. It evolves and it grows the same as your children do. Like your children don't look the same as when they were first born. They haven't got the same interests or needs or desires or wants. Things evolve and change. And so more importantly is to get something down and implement it and refine it over time than to wait till it's perfect to get it done.
I mean, even people in general like that, right? I mean, you get these people that are that whole, I am who I am and I'm never going to change. I mean, that's a personal development nightmare. How can you grow an evolving, scalable business if you're not willing to change? Like it always mistakes. Yeah. They all make mistakes. I always laugh when people criticize how many books I read. I'm like just a sponge when it comes to business books. How do you have time for this? Why don't you, listen to more music and this kind of stuff? And I'm like, I need to improve. I don't know how people have time for these things. And I don't know. I mean, again, we're probably preaching to the choir to some degree, but there's always something you can do to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. The last trap that we fall into when we create our vision is the show-off trap. Right? The vision doesn't have to be some grandiose plan, as I mentioned, to feed 1 million or 50 million people around the world. Your vision has to start with you, right? And that's where I see a lot of mistakes. Is people try to create a vision for others, but the vision has to start with you. It's an expression of you, and it needs to align with you. It's only then can you get others around that vision to align with it. Whereas if you constantly bend over backwards trying to create something for others, it's never going to fit for you, feel right, nor is it going to inspire you. So sorry,
I was just going to say, can we expand on that a bit? Because I've been in situations before in business where, the vision was of the boss getting a new boat so that he could take everyone out on it for the day, and I was just thinking, this is freaking ridiculous. You can go to hell.
Yeah. So. But still that though, to me, like that's not a vision. Like remember before we talked about the vision being the sunset. It's something that's beautiful, but it's something that you can't quite capture. Like a boat is
it's more of a goal. Yeah.
It's a goal. And to be honest, a small one at that.
So I mean, correlating that into vision then, I mean, like if you're creating a vision that's to serve you, how do you communicate that to get buy-in for, your business?
Well, let's come to that in just 2 seconds, because to kind of finish this off, your vision doesn't need to change the world. It can be enough to change your world though, right? So think of the vision that's relevant to where you are right now, yeah? Because when you have that connection to it, people are going to feel that when you explain it to them. Like that boss of yours, the question I would have asked him is, well, what will having that do for you? Right? You want to buy a boat to take all your employees out, but let's talk about what that's going to do for you. Like, what are you looking to achieve out of that? And very quickly, it no longer becomes about a boat. It becomes about the fact that he never had what he wanted growing up, right? And he wants to give that to others. But by asking a few questions, again, we can get to the feeling behind it, not the materialistic thing. What was the feeling he was looking to achieve from that, right? When our business is systemized to work without us, and make constant profit, and we've got a good team in place, then we can start thinking about a wider scale vision, right? But at the moment, a way we can come about it is one of two folds, Matt. We're either people that are moving away from pain, right? We're away from motivated, or we're towards motivated. We're motivated by moving towards things. So the first thing to identify, if you're listening to this right now, is are you motivated moving away from pain, all right, or moving away from your past, or are you motivated by moving towards pleasure? Now, we're all one of two. The larger population are motivated to moving away from pain, right? And that starts to become, I guess, gives us a bit of a scratch at the surface of insight around how we need to create our vision statement, right?
Okay. Can it be a combination of the two in your experience? Yeah.
Like, my vision is to no longer have to worry about how I'm going to feed my family so that I have enough financial freedom to help others, as an off-the-cuff example.
Sure.
Yeah.
So within this exercise and within your programs and with your customers and experience over the years, would it be fair to say that there's, as important as it is to have your company vision, it's also important to have your own vision? And are they one of two things, or are they, like you say, quite closely aligned? And should you be communicating both of those things to your organization and publicizing it to the world? Or like, where do you draw the line between business and personal?
Yeah. I guess what comes up for me when you say that is, think about this coffee cup, right? I could market this coffee cup 100 different ways. Yet the reality is it's a coffee cup. It's got some red on it. It's got some coffee inside of it, right? It is what it is. So if the people that are listening to this right now haven't got a prior vision, what I'd say is, rather than trying to create two and create more work, is start with you. Yeah. Create a vision that inspires you, and then work at how you can language that and articulate that to inspire your organization.
Sure.
Right? How do you sell that to your staff? How do you get them behind that for you? The thing that baffled me in the beginning, I remember when I first moved to Bali, is like, why are my staff so motivated to work when I'm sitting here drinking coconuts and surfing, right? Yet they weren't motivated to support that lifestyle in me. They were motivated to support the vision that we created together. And what they could see from that is the part that I played in that, the part that they played in them. And the beautiful thing is, people enjoy doing stuff that you don't enjoy doing. That's the beauty about free will. That's the beauty about the human existence, is everyone has different things they enjoy doing. So start with understanding, like, what is it you want for you? There's a reason you created your company in the beginning, right? Whether you believe it or not, there's a reason you created that. What do you stand for? What do you want to achieve? There's some steps that we can take them through. Do we have time now, Matt, to go through some of the steps to creating it?
Sure.
And what I'd say as well is absolutely make sure you either buy the copy of the book on Amazon or get the free copy from the link down here, PDF, because at the end of each chapter, I break down a how-to step by step to do what that chapter entails. So chapter 1 is like, how do you create a vision statement step by step? Like, it's foolproof. And the first step is asking the question, like, what would you like? Think about it. There's no limitations on money, on time, on lockdowns, on COVID or anything else. Like, what would you like? And be okay to write whatever's there. Don't try to critique it. Don't try to get it perfect. Just scribble whatever's there and back that up with the question of what would you want? Now, the two questions are very similar, but the two questions elicit something slightly different from the brain. And the cool thing about the brain is it doesn't like open loops. So when we ask ourselves questions, the brain, the subconscious, the heart, it answers those questions for us. Your job is to not filter that answer. Just write what's there. Because this process we go to, it's kind of like we go through a distilling process. We put a whole bunch of stuff down, and then we do what Michelangelo did to create that famous statue to David. One time they said to Michelangelo, how do you create such an exquisite statue out of solid marble called the David? And he said, well, it was quite easy. He said, all I did was I cut away everything that wasn't David.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. In this world, we try to do more and more and more and more. What we want to do here is we want to take away everything that's not your vision statement. But in order to do that, we've got to brain dump first. So once we have, what do we like? What do we want? The third question is, if you had that, what would having that do for you, right? Feel into it. What would your experience be like? How would you feel? How would you behave? Because typically the first couple are most likely some sort of a tangible, materialistic thing. Yet when we start asking the question of what would having that do for us, we start to dig into the emotion, right? Into the energy, into the feeling behind it, which is where our vision comes from. Because from that question, we can then ask, if we had that, what would having that do for us?
Yeah.
Can we give an example? Matt, let's talk about you. Like, what would you like? What do you want?
Well, you're right. I mean, the like thing would be the house that I've designed, which I want to build one day, right? That's
perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So that's, well, I mean, and I suppose I'm trying to define between what I would like and what I want. I mean, I'm not quite sure. They both seem quite similar, like you said earlier. How would you define that?
Okay. Well, let's take the house. So you want this dream home that you've already designed, right? Yeah. So if you had that house, what would that do for you?
Well, I mean, I suppose like on a subconscious level, it would show me that I was able to work towards a goal and achieve that work towards that which is significant. So I guess that's not really tangible, but it's something, perhaps it's a selfish thing. I don't know. But then it would also feel like security, So I was able
So the house would give you a sense of achievement and a feeling of security.
Security, self-worth, probably, again, selfishly, maybe status.
Status, yeah. And so if you had, security, achievement, status, and a sense of self-worth, what would having those things do for you?
I don't know, maybe probably just at the end of the day, a level of comfort that wasn't there before.
Yeah, level of comfort. Now, for the purpose of this episode, we'll keep moving on, but you can see already how quickly you've gone from like a house, right, into a sense of achievement that you could work towards getting your goal, some sort of status, some sort of safety, some sort of comfort. Even that there, like imagine if your vision statement was around providing security for yourself and those that work for you, right? Straight away, that's something that would inspire people. It's like, especially in the world we live in right now, it's like, fuck, I want a sense of security. I want a sense of status. I want a sense that I can achieve what I go after. Imagine providing that for your employees or for your clients, right? But we could keep digging down here a little bit more. The question I've got now is number 5 on this process is, if you had that sense of security, right? Safety, comfort, like how would you actually know you had that? What would let you know that you have that?
What, aside from the jingling keys when I finally opened the door? Well, I mean, that'd be it. If I was working towards that as a goal, I would know I had it when I walked in the door, I suppose, or when the shovel went into the ground.
Yeah. What else though? Like what else would give you that feeling?
Sure, probably like the reactions of the family, seeing the way they respond. Not sure, really, the way I feel inside.
No. This is good. This is good. And again, we're doing this quite quick. I would recommend that, you spend a couple of hours going through this vision process. Obviously, we haven't got that. But I want to kind of point a small example to those that are listening or watching this today. It's like you've gone from this house, you've got emotional experience. How would you know once you had that? You've said the keys. But again, having the keys wouldn't necessarily give you the feeling. And they're feelings that, to be honest, we could choose to have right now to some degree. But then what you went back to again is the experience of those around you and how they would feel.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Again, we've gone back to emotion. We've gone back to feeling something that's not tangible. Yeah?
Yeah.
What are you most excited about right now or in the coming years within your business, within your life?
We're about to have another baby, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
So family growing, watching my little daughter grow up, which is exciting.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of this stuff isn't really, I suppose, they're not necessarily objects, It's not, it's more things that I see happening around me within my, things that are happening within the family and the business is growing. It's exciting and I love working in it, which is exciting, and, working towards different things in relation to replacing myself in areas. That's exciting. So, I mean, you kind of create that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so
you can choose to be bored.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so beautifully articulated. Like the vision statement is not something material. It's not something you get. It's a feeling. And those that create a vision statement around something materialistic, it will die out. It will run out and it won't get you through the hard days. It won't get you to where you really could get in business and in life. Mission is different, which we'll speak about next episode. That is material. That is tangible.
Sure.
Right? But this here, it's a feeling. And so there's 14 questions that I outline in the book that you go through step by step. And each question, it might start off quite abstract or quite vague. But the more you go through each question, the more it distills that message within you to where you get to the point you're like, shit, that's my vision statement. That's my vision statement. Because we get past all the logic, we get past all the questioning, the self-doubt, the confusion, just by asking yourself some basic questions, right? It's coaching 101. But once we get through to the point where we have kind of some words on a page, then we can start to look how we distill it to something like, activating the truest potential of our clients, family, friends, and loved ones, helping them live a life beyond their wildest dreams, right? There's so much that we can go through this process to where our vision statement is a feeling, but when we read it, we get shivers, we get chills, we get goosebumps on our body because we've activated that deepest part of our feeling, right? For us and for those around us. Like, Matt, how does it feel when you think about your family right? Having that experience that you've created.
Mm. Yeah, exactly.
Right? Versus you earning another $1,000.
Yeah.
Right. How does that feel?
Yeah, and I know what you're saying too. Like if it's a materialistic thing, as soon as you get the thing, then it's over. Like you can't really do that.
Think about like any major goal you've ever had to get something. How long does the feeling last when you get it?
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, I got that now.
Like I went surfing this morning, awesome spot over here, got a bomb. Like all I wanted was one of these bombs. I got it. And I didn't even have a chance to like reflect on how good it felt or the progress to get it. I was paddling back out for the next one.
To get the next one, yeah.
Right. And that's what we do in life.
Yeah.
But the vision, again, it's like that, it's that sunrise or the sunset that makes us feel something inside of us that gives us the energy, the inspiration to battle even on the hard days, on the good days. Mm-hmm. But the mission allows us to have senses of achievement along the way, progress points to let us know that we are actually moving and making progress. So really what I want to kind of, I guess, finish off this process with is, the focus needs to be on progress, not perfection, right? Don't go and look at Walt Disney's vision statement and copy it because it won't mean shit to you.
Right.
Go through the process, spend a couple hours doing this because this is what's going to see your business and your life transform forever. This is what's going to give you that inspiration when shit gets tough to keep going. It's going to give you the understanding of what decisions to make in your business to keep you moving forward. It's going to be what inspires you and your family and your employees around you, right? Far beyond any of these lockdowns or challenges that we're experiencing right now in the world.
Yeah. And likely help you get through them.
Yeah. Yeah.
This has been great. I'm going to put some links to everything we've mentioned in the show notes for you listeners and viewers out there. So fear not, just head across to thesiteshed.com and you can find this episode and all the stuff Barry's been speaking about. Links to a free copy of his book, a PDF, links to the podcast, and links to the businesses. Not all 7, but a handful, I believe. Barry, we're going to come back and we're going to talk a bit more about the mission statement in the following episode. So for you guys out there that are listening and watching this, make sure you tune back in for that one because as always, these all tie together. Then we're going to be closing this series off with episode 3, which is going to be about designing your company values. Yeah. Barry, thank you very much for your time. I look forward to chatting to you in episode 2. Listeners and viewers, if you've got any questions, by all means, hit us up in the Facebook group. Otherwise, we will be speaking to you again shortly. Thanks, mate. Thank you for listening to another episode of Toolbox Talks. If you're liking what you hear, then you can head across to thesiteshed.com where you can join our community by signing up to our Toolbox Talks. You'll get sent a weekly notification, which is basically a highlight of everything that we've spoken about during that week, along with any other industry news that may be relevant or specific to the trades. If you're enjoying the show, you can head across to iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud, where you can leave us a review. That would be fantastic, and all the reviews get read out in the show. Likewise, if you have any friends or colleagues that you think would benefit from the show and the episodes that we create, then please go ahead and share it with them.